through to a wisdom. You know, he never stopped persevering, even underground, you know, on the lam. Here's a guy, and he can't stop. He's still trying to clean up the river. He's trying to do something that he thinks would be good for children. He never stopped.
A chartered plane brought us to the banks of the St. Lawrence River in a remote area of upstate New York. Then a high speedboat ride. Suddenly, another speedboat appeared, driven by a beautiful woman. Hi. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Barry. Good to see you.
Welcome to America.
Thank you. Here was Abbie Hoffman. The woman, Johanna Lawrenson, former fashion model and daughter of author Helen Lawrenson, has been his constant companion since Abbie went underground 6.5 years ago.
To the hideout.
I got my
On to the hideout.
His best friends would never recognize Abbie Hoffman today. He has a new nose, courtesy of plastic surgery, a new haircut, and a beard. Yesterday, during a day I spent at his hideout, he revealed he'd spent 2 years on the run, but 4 years as a man of the highest respectability. But what earned Abbie, alias Barry, the respect and admiration of the community was his successful 4-year battle against the Army Corps of Engineers' plan to dredge the St. Lawrence, a move that would eliminate winter ice jams, but which many residents felt would destroy the ecology.
If we had lost this struggle, these ships, these big ships that you see, would be coming down, you know, because they'd have to widen this channel. They'd be making a left over there, and they'd come right through where you're sitting.
Abbie Hoffman, in the role of Barry Freed, was the star of Washington hearings held by Senator Patrick Moynihan. And there was Barry Freed, really Abbie Hoffman, moderating a debate between 5 congressional candidates. To top it off, letters of commendation from New York Governor Hugh Carey, and appointment to a federal commission on water resources.
Wearing the new face that helped hide him from police for 6.5 years, former Yippie leader Abbie Hoffman surrendered this morning to New York City narcotics prosecutors. While inside, authorities checked his fingerprints.
I'm glad to be back in New York. I love New York.
Though Hoffman's surrender had been arranged in advance, it took 5 hours before a state analysis of his fingerprints proved the man who had been living as Barry Freed was in fact the man who jumped bail on cocaine selling charges in 1974.
I am coming back with the same optimism, the same enthusiasm, and I'm well aware that I'm entering the age of cynicism, and I come back to change it.
Where I live upstate, more high school kids want to write the term papers about me than anybody else in terms of civics or anything like that. And all the books are just not allowed in the high schools. So one school has my books under glass. Fighting against the system, you see, is such an incredible fucking challenging game in this country. How you move all these, I mean, if I was in a country like Albania, my God, of course, to be a dissident in Albania, you know every step, every move, you know, there's only about 5 or 6 things you can do. In America, you have to figure, I mean, this is extremely complicated. The revolution is, I mean, it's, you know, in the end, it's for the hell of it. It is a fucking game. And you have to, you have to study the game. You have to try and play it as intensely as you can, and you have to try and use every tool you can. If you're funny, you have to use it. If you're cute, you have whatever you got, you have to use. And so it really hurts, you know, when people come up to you and say, "My God, it's so," you know, isn't he? They say on the subway, say, "Oh, look at him. He looks so good, and he's so rich." So what am I doing on a fucking subway? What am I doing in jail?
What I feel is that the urine test has nothing to do with drug abuse at all and more to do with controlling workers. It's an extremely faulty test, and if the public knew what it was really all about, they would reject it just like they rejected loyalty oaths.
Why comedy now?
Oh, well, I've always been funny since I was very little, and of course people that knew me from the 60s, wow, some of those things were funny. I've never seen funny as the opposite of serious. I mean, all my books, especially Still As Urine Test, the last, but all really. I try to use political satire as a weapon in the symbolic war against the evil forces. So I get very nervous when I'm going to speak, and I think all the chromosome damage, you know, from the naughty drugs will set in, and I'll come out screaming that the CIA is pissing in the nuclear plants in order to radiate the waters, to poison the minds of the young, make them easy cannon fodder for the Pentagon's next war.
Oh, God.
So I'm going off with the best when we got arrested there at the University of Massachusetts in the darkened vans. And it was a tough bus for the 80s. They broke someone's leg. They used attack dogs. They had us in handcuffs for 6 hours in the buses. So I said to the kids, do you know any freedom songs? They start singing every song from Hair. Age of Aquarius. I said, what are you folks up to? This was a bullshit Broadway musical. They wore wigs. They didn't even have hair. They said, Abby, you're crazy. It was a movie. It was a great movie.
Massachusetts jury today found Amy Carter not guilty of charges stemming from a campus demonstration against CIA recruiters. Also found not guilty were 60s activist ABBIE Hoffman and 13 other defendants. But as NBC's Fred Briggs reports tonight, the real defendant in this trial was the CIA itself.
Throughout all this, former President Carter said he was behind